I'm adopted. Didn't see that one coming. When you go searching for an adoptive parent, you never know how it will be received. And there was like dead silence on the other end of the line. Clearly, I missed out on opportunities to have those memories with them when I was young. I needed to stay home. I had a whole career, a whole job, all the things. And after I held that first one in my hands, like I was like, I can be poor. I did decide to ultimately homeschool my kids, but I could see it coming. I am not a stay-at-home mom. So when I knew that was happening, I was like, I got to find my way back out there. In the last 7 years, I have been security licensed, registered, insurance licensed in all 50 states.
Here's the deal. We're two moms and we popped babies out in our 40s. And it's hard.
It was hard.
It's also the best thing that's ever happened to either one of us.
Yeah, but now we're moms in our 40s.
In our 40s.
With preschoolers. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
Let's bring the community together of women.
All the moms, 40, 20.
And also, like, let's just talk about, like, real shit. Real life, real women shit.
Yeah, real women shit. Let's do that.
Shit's hard. And also, it's funny. Life is funny.
Let me just pull my bush out of my bush.
Cheers.
Cheers. Unfiltered.
Because if you want a show, we're a shit show. We're here for you.
Yeah.
Welcome to Insurance Mamas Life Unfiltered.
I almost forgot what our show name was.
That's what it is.
We haven't recorded for 9 days.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Welcome, Kel.
Thank you.
Welcome
back.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Who doesn't do a show recording for 9 days? We were busy, you guys. We had camping. We had birthdays. We had concerts. I mean, life.
We're just living life. Yeah.
Living it large.
Living
the life large right now.
Stroking it.
Stroking. Look it up, you guys. Look it up.
Yeah. Clarence Carter. Clarence Carter. If you don't know, now you know.
If you don't know, now you know.
Clarence.
I forgot the name.
That's a good throwback.
It's a great throwback.
Yes.
It's a great throwback.
Did you guys notice somebody else is here?
Yeah, we got a guest. A guest.
We got
a goose in the room.
A little goose in the room.
My little sunshine chair over here. I feel like I'm definitely a warm chair.
You
The
are.
warmest spot in the house right
You look
now.
like a little princess.
You
it's
are.
Like, it's kind of like
You're a little
tinier
podcast
chair.
princess.
Little podcast princess.
Aw.
Welcome, Lori, podcast princess.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you today. So let me just introduce. This is Mrs. Lori Richards. And if you don't know, now you know.
Now you know.
Clarence.
Clarence Carter. So we're going to talk to Miss Lori Richards today. I'm so excited to have you here with us today, Lori. And I know that there are many people on the other side of this that are excited to hear your story too. Everybody. So
It's always different every time. I'm Lori with the story.
So do you want to just introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about
Everything.
who you are?
You know, this is how I like to ask the question. I asked this of somebody yesterday. So, like, I want to know everything. Just tell us from the beginning. Where you just when you started crying when you came out of the womb. Go.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. This is a big story.
That's a big
That's
story.
a big
too.
Lori
Tell us what
story.
you want to
Yeah.
do. Lori stories. Tell us what you want to tell us.
There.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place
I
to
love
start.
that. Didn't see that one coming, but I love that
Yeah.
question. I love that question. So, I'm adopted, and I knew always that I was adopted. My mom, who raised me, I just told her this morning, I'm so thankful for the way my life happened. But my birth mother, I had to call her today. She was on my heart and on my mind, and I had to call her. So I called her this morning. I didn't meet her till I was 31.
Wow.
And so, but I did know my whole life that I was adopted. So my parents who raised me, they were like, yeah, there were all these babies in the nursery and we picked you out.
Oh,
You were the special one. Yeah, it's going to make me cry when I think about it. But yeah, so, and they were there 31 years later when I found my birth mother through another guy at work who was awesome. Thank you, Steve. If you ever hear this, I still appreciate you so much.
Shout out to Steve right now. We love you, Steve.
oh.
But my parents were there with me, and when I met my birth mother for the first time, and we had to like lock arms with each other and like go. I wanted her. I just want to go stand in the mirror and look at each other and look at you and look at me and look at me and you. That happened. Doug was there, and I had Morgan, my baby. Morgan was my first child. And after not being related to anyone in my whole life, when she was in my arms for the first time, it's just like there is not another feeling like that you can describe. And it was in that moment that I knew that I had to try harder to find my birth mother, to thank her. Because we all have a choice. And even back in the day, they had a choice to either give life and even sometimes we have to give it away.
Mhm.
And that is a really hard choice. And I could never do it. And I don't think she wanted to do it either. Is what I know now, that she didn't want to do it. And I love that I know her, and I love my whole family, and I love, it's a messy bunch.
We all are.
That story is,
We
but,
all are.
but at the end of the day, it's all of love kind of covers all of that. It
Yeah.
covers everything in a way that is just right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like imagining as you're saying that, okay, first of all, meeting your birth mother at 31 and getting
5 months after giving birth myself. Yeah.
and getting to look in her eyes and just like what that experience is. And you know what? I've never thought about that. How you said that, like, you hadn't had family. I mean, you had your right. You hadn't had like your directly blood related person in your world. So Morgan was like your first like
Yeah.
being that
And
was like,
I was part of my mom was my mom who raised me was one of 7
Okay.
siblings. So we always had a big family. Like it was like crazy and loud and food and holidays and bunches of people all around. But you look in the room and everyone kind of looks like each other because they're all related. And it's okay. It's okay that I was different, and it's okay. But you do pick up on that. You can't not pick up on that. And so I love when there's families with like, and now there's 3 or 4 adopted kids in our family now. So it's not like I'm the only one anymore. So it's way better, more open, more accepted, more talked about. People were amazed that I knew my whole life, because there are other people who found out later that they were adopted. And like that just pulls the rug out from under.
yeah.
But knowing, I mean, I don't know maybe what, it's probably different for everyone what's right. What is right for their family or whatever is right for that. And I love that from the very beginning, you were chosen, and you knew that you were chosen in that way from your parents. And
It was a beautiful, I'll tell you though, my own mom and dad struggled to have a baby. They couldn't for a long time, which is why they adopted.
Mhm.
Okay. And after I came along 2 years later, boom, they have a baby, right? My sister is 9 years younger than me. So I have a sibling that my brother and I grew up together. He's 2 years younger than me. And then my sister came like almost, it feels like a generation later, because that's 9 years is a long time.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't the same for them. Like, and I felt bad for them because they didn't get to feel like they were chosen, but they had other things that
Yeah.
were different.
yeah, and they were chosen, just not in the same sense as you were picked. Like a little flower, perfectly, like they got to
Yeah.
go in and say that one. But they were
Yep.
still chosen to be here in this world with them. And your mom really wanted to have, both your parents really wanted to
Yes.
have a baby.
They
and
wanted to have lots of babies.
Yeah, and they did. They did have
Yes.
some. So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I think about the I guess to tell or not to tell, because there are some parents that might be
Mhm.
watching that are considering adoption, and like, what route do you go, and is honesty the best policy, or do you want to keep that away from them? But having a story that goes along with that made you feel so special.
Yeah.
Because you're right, Megs, you're
It
gonna
gives
know.
you the confidence, I think, later
Yeah.
in life to just feel like you didn't fit in a good way.
Yeah.
You got it. It's so sometimes we fit in, sometimes we don't fit in.
Yeah.
But if we can find a confident way to go about it, it didn't mess me up in any way, shape, or form. In fact, it gave me the confidence. It gave me,
I'm sure there's a trust factor too.
Yes.
Now I can
Yeah.
totally trust you because you're not bombing me with this whole,
yep,
like almost felt like your whole life was almost a lie at that point. Saying,
100%.
yeah. So it's like,
And so that's what I worry about. I have another friend of mine whose husband was adopted, and he had zero desire. Once he found out he was adopted, he had zero desire to find out, and he didn't want to know why. He didn't want to know any of the things. He had his reasons, and for me, finding my birth mother though was like one of the true joys of my life. When you go searching for an adoptive parent, you never know how it will be received. You have to be prepared mentally for the good, the bad, and the ugly, because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. And I knew that going in. Like, I knew that. I had no idea how I would be received, what she would say, if she would even answer the phone. Literally back in the 90s, okay, 2001.
20th century, basically.
No, but
almost.
seriously, Steve, my guy from work, he did a search. I wouldn't spend the money on the search. He did. I don't know why he did that. Thank you, Steve. But he did a search, and he got back a whole bunch of results, and he's like nerdy with a spreadsheet and all the cool stuff. But I had a binder. He gave me a binder, and it was everyone with her name in the state of Texas. She was married and divorced 5 times and had recently gone back to her maiden name.
So that's how you found.
Because otherwise, how would
kinda
you
gives
ever
me chills
know?
to think about this right now, because women, we change our last names. You can't find people. Like, that's hard.
Way to go,
Think
Steve.
about the web of amazing that God put out for that. Then here you are, you get this job with this guy who's, becomes your friend at
Who's
work.
a friend of Doug's from old SMU days. Weird story, but okay,
So then there's another connection. So that brings you even closer to him. And then he's like, you're like, I just kind of want to do this. And he's like, well, I'm going to do it for you. Here's a binder. I'll pay for it. Here's all your things. And then not only that, now she's changed her name back.
all
So
the
you can
pieces
find
in
her.
All the
place.
pieces at that moment to align in your life
Yep.
to come together so that you
Yep.
can meet these people.
That happened. And I had a binder, you guys, of all these people, thousands of people to call. And I had all these Elizabeth Haneys, from like Elizabeth A, like Anne, all the way to Z's, right? I don't know,
Yeah.
but whatever. And I literally flipped that back page over, and I called
The bottom, you start at
the
the bottom.
last one, and it was Elizabeth Walker Haney. And I called that phone number, and I start to tell my story. How do you call? What do you say when you're calling
Yeah.
people?
I'm thinking
asking-
just the courage to pick up the phone and dial a phone number and have someone answer and say,
Yeah.
listen, I'm looking for my mom. Like,
I'm-
oh my,
I'm looking.
Wow.
I'm adopted. I'm looking for my birth mother, and you have to stop at some point. And there was like dead silence on the other end of the line, and then she took a breath, and then she said, "Oh my gosh, baby girl, we have been praying for you." And that was the first one that you called. That was my birth grandmother. It wasn't even my mother yet. That was my
they have the same
grandmother.
name.
No, she just answered the phone.
Oh my God.
And my birth mother was in Mexico on a mission trip. She's
Of course she
really
was.
awesome with her hands. She can fix all kinds of cool stuff. And so she didn't find out for a few days because they didn't have service or whatever. But yeah, and I think for a while she struggled with giving me up. She didn't want to.
Of course.
Her mom and dad required it somehow. I don't know that whole situation, but I know it was required, and she didn't have a choice. And I was in a home for unwed mothers. That's where I was born. And when Beth came home, I feel like I wish it had been different for her in some ways, but at the same time, we can only do things when we're surrounded with love. And I think that's how it was meant to be, with love. But I feel like Beth still today would say that she wishes it could have been done more privately, but it was like at a family sit-down dinner. Guess who called today? And so all of these...
But I mean, maybe that's
Yeah.
exactly the way it needed to happen so that it
Just
was.
get it out.
It just
Yeah.
ripped the Band-Aid. Now everybody knows.
Maybe so.
And now she doesn't have to sit with anything and keep it a secret and wonder how to tell her family
Yeah.
or it's like, we already know.
I mean, obviously it was a divine intervention
Yeah.
in so many different ways.
And like, in literally 3 days, I knew I was going to meet her. At that time, I was way into scrapbooking. And in like 3 days, I pulled together a Lori story like book, and I was able to give it to her. And I wanted her to know I had a happy life. I wanted her to know I had these pictures of me at Christmas or whatever it was. And then through high school and growing up and even into college. And so when my grandfather saw me for the first time, they actually had Lori Day. We had big celebration Lori Day. He like made I still have it. It's a paper plate award, and it like has all these cool things around it. And it's like Happy Lori Day. And all the family
This is when you met all of your
family
your
back
birth-
home in Mountain Home, Texas.
Oh
Yep.
my gosh.
I just want to go back for just a second,
Yeah.
saying that the time when you did meet your mom,
Yeah,
what
sorry,
a
let me
gift.
go back.
No, that's okay. I just
Mhm.
want to acknowledge what a gift you gave Beth by showing her that your life was good and what the
A
choice
relief.
that she made.
To her. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just I mean, like
Because it-
here you are trying to receive some connection and validation maybe and finding your family, but you're like, here, let me just show you.
I have another brother now from another mother. Like
Lori's story is the brother from another mother. Yeah.
that's the birth story. That's the
Dude, that's
you asked me a question.
know, look
I had no idea that's where we're going
You
today.
had no idea.
so you guys, I've only got to meet this beautiful soul one other time, and we had a couple drinks in the cabana and hung out. So
Yeah.
I know this.
And our kids
I'm
did gymnastics, and
Yeah.
it was awesome.
Yep. So I'm learning with you guys right now. So
Aw.
that's just beautiful. What an
Yeah.
incredible thing, and what a great.
Thank you for asking about it.
I just want to say this about what we've been like chatting about, just to kind of reflect for our moms that are listening out there. It's just like some different things of being, you know, if you're in an adoptive situation, if you are an adoptive parent, like this just gives us some great examples of ways to maybe do it. I just feel like you moved through this process so beautifully. And I know not everybody gets that same
Right.
story, but the things that you guys did with intention, whether you realized that then your
The outcomes.
your
Yeah.
adoptive parents letting you, telling you, your birth mother doing her best, and your grandmother welcome you on that phone call to bring you back in, and then them having Lori Day and
Your
celebrating you
adoptive family to be so supportive behind you that whole time too.
So
It's like
everybody-
saying, let's do this, Lori. Let's get you to where you want to be with them. You
When-
know,
Yeah.
Megs, one time you were talking about in one of our episodes how like why wouldn't you want more people to
to love your kids.
Yeah, and that's just, you guys have created this situation of love between everyone, and it's just like that was a beautiful, incredible story, and I'm really grateful that you were able to maybe shine some light into other people's journeys that
Well,
they
and I
might
want to
have
also
that.
share.
Yeah.
My dad was awesome. But he also feared I might forget about my family, right? Like I would turn to them and there's going to be fears. There's always fear when we let go, really.
Mm-hmm.
When we raise kids, oh my gosh, you put your 16-year-old child in a car and they drive away from you. There is like fear, like real fear. But love really does like bring it all back around. You have to put love out there to receive that love back. And that my dad always, he big-hearted. And I know that he knew I wasn't going to forget my daddy, and I wasn't going to forget my mom and my brothers, my kids, my cousins that my grandmother and grandfather who raised me. I do have like this big bounty of memories. And there's an opportunity cost. Clearly, I missed out on opportunities to have those memories with them when I was young. And there was someone that you guys interviewed recently who wants to try to keep the adoptive mom in. Is that Sarah?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful and amazing. And I think when that mom is ready and healthy, then she can be part of it,
Yeah.
and
And it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You don't have to choose between two families.
no, you can have everybody.
You can have everybody.
a lot of brothers. You can have
Yeah.
a lot of cousins. You can love is limitless,
yeah.
right? It's infinite, and it grows where it needs to. Where there is a space, it will fill that void
Mhm.
if you let it.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
Well, that's a great, great beginning to just
So where'd you come from? That's
I know.
it.
I know. That was what question, Callie. You got some good ones over there.
But then that starts out from like, okay, so that's where you started, and that was the Lori story, which we love, and we just are so grateful for you sharing that. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then here you are now, 31, having your own family.
Yeah.
And now you have 2 girls, and we want to like talk about what it's like for you now to be a mom to those 2 girls.
Hey.
I've heard many, many stories of what an amazing mother you were to these 2 girls. And these 2 girls
That was my job.
yeah. And
I
you
did.
poured,
I decided to stay home. I had a whole career, a whole job, all the things. And after I held that first one in my hands, like I was like, I can be poor. I don't need to work. I just want to be here and hold them and be with them. And I want to introduce them to everything. Like,
Isn't that so cool how our mom heart works? We're just like,
yeah,
screw it all. This is my world.
That's what happened to us too. I didn't even tell John I wasn't going back to work. Like it wasn't even a discussion before. I was just like,
you and Keston had a moment and you were like, sorry,
I'm like,
Johnny.
you tell Dad. Okay.
yeah,
it is.
So
incredible.
I stayed home. We got them. I love though that they get out and do these, like, they need exposure to dinners and dining out and flying on planes. They gotta go see and do it so that they can assimilate with everything the way they have to be out there. And so I definitely loved some early preschool things that they did. I mean, not only did it give me a break, but it gave them, something that they would come home and feel proud of, and they would learn something, and they would learn from others, both good and bad things. But we have to take that all in.
Yeah,
you do.
Part of life.
And so those early years were really fun. And then it was time for kindergarten, guys. And we had a great pre-K and kindergarten where the school where we went. Best kindergarten teacher ever. I just want to shout out to all the kindergarten teachers out there right now. Everything that we do learn that we need to know and like to make us successful people, we learn it in kindergarten.
Yep.
That's where it all
Somebody
kinda comes
wrote a
together.
book about it
It's
even.
the best. That's got to be the best job ever. But it takes a special person
does.
to juggle all of that and show us that beautiful way forward with our kids, because they do need to learn. They need to get into the classroom. They need to do certain things. And I love public education, but I did decide to ultimately homeschool my kids.
You did.
I did. So
what flipped the switch for you to be like, you
So
wanted
you
to keep them
started,
home?
yeah. So you started preschool, pre-K, and then kindergarten in a public setting.
and first grade for
And
Morgan.
first, okay.
Because I wanted Macy to have
go
that
to-
same
yeah,
kindergarten
okay.
teacher. Like I knew that was gold.
She was the one.
And so, I am not a good stay-at-home mom. I don't stay home well.
Yeah.
I
get that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
I'm a busy person.
Right.
So,
We need to come up with a new phrase for that. Not a stay-at-home mom, but
I
we
was
need
a stay busy
something.
mom.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was just
Like, get out there
constantly
and
on the
get
go.
it, mom.
Yeah.
And during this time, we were building a house and living in a 23-foot Airstream with no slide outs, like old 1965 Airstream, and like laundry and bins under it. Yeah, like we had that whole journey for 18 months.
Like in land in Texas. Like there
Yes.
was your closest neighbor was a little bit away, right?
Yeah,
Like
25 minutes to the closest grocery store. Yeah. So anyway, all of this and trying to get them in kindergarten and trying to get them. Okay, so one day an assistant in the classroom gets a promotion or something, and they're looking for a mom to help out in the classroom or somebody in a degree, like all of these things. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Let's go. And I was like, Morgan, and she's both of my kids. I mean, I'm a mom. Like we all think our kids are awesome, right? But my kids have grown up making choices from a very early age. I gave them the power to choose all the tough choices. There are certain things that were like non-negotiable and like, you don't get a choice on this one. This one's just like, we're doing it. Do you want to do it the easy way or the hard way? Like we have that, they'll laugh at that. But most of the time I want them to be making choices very early so that someday they aren't blaming someone else for the decisions in their journey, and because they made those choices and decisions. It could be what color shirt they want to wear. It could be whether we're eating this or that. It could be, there's just every one of them need to have that power to choose from an early age and that power to communicate with us. But it's from that power to choose that I came to Morgan and I said, okay, they want me to be in your classroom. I need you to be okay with that. Like that's going to change the environment in your classroom and how you and I feel and how you and I interact. Are you going to be okay with that? So we had a whole conversation about it.
And she's a first grader?
Yeah.
So she's
cool.
like 6, 7 years
Yeah.
old.
Okay.
Because
And if you think back, like I can remember being 7, and what an incredible thing to have the person that you love and respect and just look up to so much, your mother, come to you and ask your opinion on how you're feeling about those things.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But that's how we do. That's how we do things. And
Yeah.
so I finished out the school year there. And it was during that time of actually being a fly on the wall, actually being part of the conversations and the teaching and the musicality of the songs. That's how we learn everything.
And the background of not just in the classroom, but probably getting some insight on the outside of what all
have
the
learning
teachers.
opportunities everywhere we turn. Everywhere we turn. It does not just happen in the classroom. So, but in the classroom, there was a lot of standing around, a lot of standing in line, a lot of moving from here to there, a lot of attention going to kids that were acting out, that took away from the kids that were trying to sit in their seat and hold their pen right and all the things. And in that moment, I knew, well, on top of that, we got a little flyer sent home from school that said, here's a class if you kids want to get the wiggles out, like bring them. It was a musical theater. It was like sing, act, and dance, all the things.
Cool.
And so that started a whole journey. And the kids, of course, they have to make these choices, right? Do you want to homeschool? Do you want to do more of the wiggles? Like, what are we doing? And so by homeschooling, I was able to learn more about, well, first of all, some of the things that we teach in the public school system is not something that I always agree with. And so getting a chance to have a choice about that was really important to me. So there's that. Plus, I wanted it to be a spiritual journey for them, not just a classroom. But we did the Pledge of Allegiance and all the things. So they were still kind of normalized, but at home. I did find years down the road, we still interacted with others who were also homeschooling, which was also cool. And we did crazy intense singing, acting, dancing, and gymnastics. Like that whole thing allowed us to do more of the things that we loved. So it was a decision, that we as a family did. But I think that doing school with intentionality and then also knowing that they have a choice. So at some point down the road, we knew they would go back to school. And Doug was very adamant about, I want them to graduate and have a high school experience. Like I want them to get high school. And so we did let them choose when they wanted to re-enter. So Morgan chose 7th grade. She wanted junior high. Ooh, I did not want junior high. Junior high was like the worst year for me.
For sure.
But that was her choice.
And up until this point, they were like, yes, we like homeschool.
Well, they were very busy doing other things as well. So, yeah.
So Macy decided to go back in 9th grade. So she skipped the whole junior high thing, went right into 9th grade.
Because she let Morgan test it out.
Yeah.
And said, no, thank you.
Oh, my gosh, we say it. Yes, exactly. And so Macy was a busy girl at that time, too. They both had jobs when they were kids. Like, it's insane what their work ethics were.
Do you think part of that was because they were homeschooled, so they had time to
Yes,
have jobs?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And when I say
jobs,
job,
she means like gymnastics, acting, like
and
life. Like there are things that you can learn. There are so many important things that you learn outside of the classroom, like you're saying. But when you're homeschooling, that you really are learning about life that will support you as an adult more than, like, I was just talking to someone the other day and I'm like, I didn't even learn how to balance a checkbook. Like they don't even teach you those life skills in school. And here they're like in gymnastics and traveling for acting classes and like just
we're
doing
in
all
the
these
car.
things.
I'm multitasking. I told you I'm not a good stay-at-home mom. I'm a stay-busy mom. And so I worked at the gym. I kind of worked the front desk and I decided that they needed to have like a real gymnastics team manager. So I became the communicator. I became the organizer. I had all the things. And by working at the front desk, I started doing that, not realizing I was creating a position that exists today. And at that same gym,
a much needed position that all these places should have.
I don't do that at the gym anymore. But Tina, my other mother, she's not really my mother, no, but she mothered my children through the gym. And I just, gosh, and I hope it's okay. Can I give a shout out to her gym?
Everybody.
Yeah. You can say whoever you want.
Okay, this little flyer with the wiggles, okay, she changed my life. Tina, you changed my life. It's called the Rock of Sports and Performing Arts, and they are sports, if that's what you are, but they are also performing arts. And so it helps children of all ages, right, find what they're good at, right? And it's a mix.
And actually, just to like package that all up, like they did all these things. They went to junior high, then they went to high school,
Yeah.
and they got the whole high school experience in a beautiful little town in Texas.
Yeah.
Had a great high school experience, I
Yep.
feel like. Went on to
Yep.
college. And I want to talk
Yeah.
about this part because I think this is just a really cool thing, especially for me who has a 3-year-old, to be so enveloped in what I'm doing as a mom right now, not even understanding or even dauntingly thinking about in my future what's going to happen when I don't have all of this
Yeah.
to do. And then here you are, your kids are 16, 17, and you
I don't
said,
know what happened. I really don't know how I shifted gears, but I did. I can see it coming. I am not a stay-at-home mom. Like, I am not. I already know this about myself. I'm not going to sit around. I had a pool in my backyard. I'm like, why did I not just stay in my pool? Shut up, Lori. Just
hindsight's 2020,
I know.
especially with the swimming pool.
No,
Well,
we can tell you can't sit.
No.
we got you.
Yeah.
We got you pegged for that.
Yeah. So I was like, I want to help people. That's what I want to do with my life. I have this degree. I've been raising kids. I like the gymnastics stuff, but my kids aren't in it anymore. I'm pretty good with a spreadsheet. Like, I can do a lot of things. So when I knew that was happening, I was like, I got to find my way back out there. And there was another friend, and my daughter who was a gymnast is now a diver. And so my diving friends, we were talking, and this one mom, we got to shout out all the names,
Let's
right?
shout
Go, shout them out.
Thank you, Stacey. Because I was telling her what I want to do. I want to help people. I don't know how I want to help. I don't know. I don't know what I'm good at. Like, I'm good at a lot of things, but like enough to like get a paid job, like whatever, like a big girl job. Like Doug is older than me. And so it was always one of my goals is that like, I feel like he kind of rescued me. And it was like my goal in life, like someday to hopefully rescue him right back. He let me stay home and I want to help make sure we finish out strong. Right. So
Yeah,
she said, you'd be awesome. So I'm like, okay, what is it? So,
she'd be awesome. Thanks. What are we talking about?
yeah, she's like, it's kind of hard to explain, and it's going to take you a little bit to figure it out, but it's just talking on the phone with people. Like, I decided to go back to work in a helping profession, helping people financially. I had no idea that's where I was really going.
Yeah.
Like, that never happened in my prior career. I worked in manufacturing. I was like production line, forecasting, planning, all the things with the spreadsheets. Thank you, Steve. That was in manufacturing. It's quite satisfying, actually, to talk to people. They have these financial accounts.
So you started with this lady saying, you can answer the phone here.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you started answering the phone.
Yeah.
You literally walked in.
Well, they didn't hire me at first, but they had a program for like returning moms plan on like returning for a second career. And I
That's
thought,
cool.
I applied for that. I didn't
Wow.
get that either. I tried.
Just kidding. Take it back. You're not cool.
I know. But there was a temporary agency
Okay.
that supported them. And then like, if you worked out, then they gave you the permanent offer. right?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I've leveraged that. And there are VPs at the company today who started out that way. So I have
Yeah,
I'm humble
So
about
I
that.
think
I don't
it's-
care.
And I think it's super important to highlight that it was like, here you are wanting to do something, not knowing what you want to do, but with something and helping people in some way. And this friend says, answer a phone. So you're just going to walk in. You know what I mean? That's so
Yeah.
frightening. That
Well,
is scary.
There was some training that went before it. So I knew what to say. I kind of knew some of the calls and they let you listen to some calls, right? So you get some like warm up or whatever. I just wasn't always sure if I was confident enough like with the answers, right? And
But I still want you to say, I started at the phone and then you went back to school.
in the last 7 years, I have been security licensed, registered, insurance licensed in all 50 states. I'm doing all of that. And I learned how to
50
stock.
states.
I learned how to
All of
stock
them.
trade. I build bond ladders. Like I'm on it. And I decided
You're
I
a
needed,
badass financial.
I
yeah.
am.
Yeah, but
And
wait
I-
a minute.
I wanted all of the tools in the tool belt. Like
Mhm.
I wanted to help people in the best way that I could. And I need all the tools. Like I need them. And like I already mentioned my production planning, forecasting, all of that. There's an element of forecasting to this too. So it just ticked off so many things for me. And yes, after doing all the licensing, because you have to, then I decided I really want to know what I want to be when I grow up. So I went back to school and I got my master's degree in financial planning.
Awesome.
It was amazing.
So
Thank you,
what year
Texas
did
Tech.
you graduate from college, Lori, for the
I know.
second time?
Last year. So like I went to A&M first and I have my little Aggie ring out.
There
if you
it
can
is.
see it right there. But then I got this, it's little bling ring guard thing. And I didn't want all these school stuff all over me, but I did want to look down from time to time and just be reminded that I freaking did that. I finally found a way that I could help people in a way that nobody else wants to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about their money. They grew up, nobody talks about.
It's so weird to me. Like, I'm the one who just talks about money. And they're like,
Mhm.
did you just ask me that question? I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
because if we don't fucking talk about it, how are we supposed to get better at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how are we supposed to grow in our financial arena if we can't have like legit conversations about what we're doing and what potential and possibilities there are?
And there should be no shame involved with
You're
money.
right.
There should be growth.
There should only be growth.
And the
yeah.
shame comes from, like, let's just go back. Our parents didn't know what to do. They got a 401k in the 80s. They had pensions before that. Then the laws changed. And, everything, it's a changing landscape. There's
Mhm.
no
Well, and it's-
blame or reason to feel shame
And it's
at all.
also a specialty that if
Yeah.
that's not what you know and that's not what you do, then why would you ever
Yeah.
expect to know? Like
Yeah.
you just kind of get it. Like, oh, there's my pension. Like, but there's someone who's out there to help you understand all of that
But
stuff.
do you
And
know now, doing what I've been in this new career after late
know, but-
40s. And last year after graduating, then I sat for the CFP, which is like a freaking hard test. Okay.
Yeah.
And I did that 3 months after graduating. I wanted to not do school anymore, but I had to keep studying. I had to throw away all the books and go through this program that preps you for that. Okay. And you really do, if anyone's out there thinking about this, it's a journey. It is a journey. It is a journey. It's a lot of work.
but the time is going to pass anyways. So
It
you
is.
might as well.
do something.
yeah. I know. She asked me at the beginning, did you read this such and such book? And I'm like, I haven't read a book for pleasure in a while. I need to do that. That's something on my
You'll get
bucket
there.
list.
You'll
I
get
know,
there.
I know. But now I've been given the opportunity, and it is an opportunity to help people financially in a way that I could have never dreamt of helping people before. And you know what's even cooler than that is that I can go back to the people that are still in my life that have blessed me so much, and I can bless them right back with this now.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So even though I had kids and now they're adults and they're adulting, I'm so proud of my oldest. She has a job, the big girl job with
Yeah, she's doing big girl things.
Yeah.
Big,
Yeah,
really
she
cool
loves it.
stuff. And then Macy just graduated
just
college
graduated,
too.
so she's
getting
figuring
ready
it out.
to
Yeah.
get her big girl pants on too, which is awesome and exciting. So
They're both strong, independent.
Badass women.
Yeah, they are going to be. I'm really excited to hear about their story at some point, just because of their upbringing, because of their choices, because of all the things, right? It's all the ways that their love and support of the family they have behind them, of everyone that's cheering for them and rooting for them always in all the things they do. They're going to be freaking unstoppable. I can't even wait to see it. They're going to set the world on fire. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what motherhood is right there. Like, you're talking into your children
Mhm.
who are now grown, beautiful women, blowing
blowing on that fire.
Yep. And you know what? I know before we were saying a couple things about having, not enveloping the guilt of how we're doing things wrong, but I do want to point something out, because we can make choices that aren't great for our children.
And that has happened, unfortunately.
It-
To me, even
It's human.
also.
It's human.
Yeah.
It
It's
is.
humanism.
It is, but what I want to express in this is that, Lori, listening to your story, the reason why you have those strong women is you came from a space where you could have chose. I mean, you could have chose to, when you knew that you were adopted, you could have chose a different show up. You could have chose that you desired empathy or an Eeyore syndrome, or why don't I look the same? You could have,
Yeah, you could have stayed into a victim
Yeah.
mentality of
yep. And you,
this happened to me.
to
So
me,
you guys, I think all of this is kind of coming back to that. It's a very powerful thing, the power of choice.
yeah.
And we all have it. You're right. You're right. We have it from a young age. It's all about perspective. But we do have to choose it. And when we choose it, we have to grab onto that shit and hold it. Because
And be confident in that choice
Yep.
that you made.
and it's okay
Good or
if it's a
bad.
bad
Yeah,
choice.
good or bad. It's okay.
Because
You're supposed to make bad choices.
that's what we learn.
Because you're supposed to make choices.
That's
because
what
you're
we
supposed
learn.
to make choices.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the consequences teach us as much as the lesson itself. You
It's-
know, it's
mhm.
like those consequences.
Risks and rewards and all the
Mhm.
things go along
Mhm.
with that. Yeah. So the
But-
sooner you get to start deciding those things for yourself, even just what color shirt you're going to wear when you're 3.
It's a small choice.
And so that's what you're doing. And then we see that's what you've done for your babies, and you've provided them with opportunities to make choices. And because a lot of people are decision stagnant.
Paralysis.
Yeah, they can't.
They can have decision
They
paralysis.
they can't even tell you where they want to eat dinner. You're like,
I don't want to make another choice.
Like, just choose a place. But you've been empowering your children and making sacrifices, because you can tell you're a busy, badass businesswoman, but the sacrifice, yeah, the sacrifice you did with joy, though, like, right? You did that with joy. You poured yourself into it.
I did, and that is what I'm most excited about. I'm only a year in. Like, imagine, like, we're just getting started.
Is it going good? Like, would you consider yourself successful at this point?
No, I'm like bottom of the barrel, guys. I'm here. I'm barely hanging in. But we just finished like this training, and there's some guys that came from different roles, like, you know, but you guys, I feel uniquely positioned as a woman financial advisor.
Yeah.
Because women, there is power. We do all the stuff for our families. And sometimes we just need some girl talk. Like, we just need to talk to someone else and go, okay, don't cover me in with all the sales, like, bullshit. Like, cut straight to the point.
I want empathy. I want empathy.
I was just gonna say,
like, I need my need of security. And
well, and I don't think in a man's world, money and empathy go in that same category. So for a woman to have both of those things for you, like, I'm listening to you and your story, and then I'm also going to help you successfully get to a financial goal that you want as a woman, because that's incredible.
I know.
That's incredible.
I know.
that's so exciting.
I know. I'm so excited.
You're moving the world.
And I just want to say that it's so important to acknowledge that I think, you know, we're talking a lot about choices, but choices to do it with love and joy and everything that you're doing. Those are the two most incredible choices you can choose every morning when you wake up. I'm going to choose to be joyful today. I'm going to choose to do this all with love. And then
I'm going to listen to this whole podcast, and he's going to go, how come I have to remind her of that all the time? But I couldn't have done it without him. We kind of like, he's the yin to my yang. Like we complement each other. We provide for each other what's needed in that moment at that time. And it has been 29 years, I think. It's a long time. And it's been fun. Like, we've had a great time, and we're even having, I think, more fun today than like you. Really. We're a whole hot mess right now. We just moved about a month ago, so there's all that happening. But at the same time, I'm excited about the next, chapters, what's going on, and how that's going to play out. Because none of us know. None of us have that crystal ball. But if we have, our ride or die by our side, then it's going to be great.
You know what I think would be really fun? If you could give just one short, sweet suggestion, a tip in marriage, what would that be?
First of all, marriage is a choice. Okay. We've already talked about, we grab onto it and we don't let go. Okay. We sometimes have to re-choose it, like all the time. Like, sorry, that does happen. But when I was actually looking for a partner, a life partner, because people, we practice with people all the time, right? But only one somewhere down there is going to work out, right? And then it was important to me that he also was going to choose one time. Like, it was going to be, that's the choice we're making, and that's it. And it could go, you never know the future. It could go well, it could not. And people, we love our big, messy families through all of the choices we have to make. I feel that it's a choice that we make, and you have to choose it all the time. And sometimes you have to be reminded of the reasons why you chose it in the first place, because it's not all sunshine and roses. We see the struggle is real. Life is real. Who do you want to get real with? And then if you can answer that person is your person, and you guys can say that to each other, then you can handle it. But it's not a smooth road. And I no one ever told me that. I thought, we're going to get married. He and I didn't even really communicate a lot in those early years.
So marriage, nobody knows about those things.
No, but there was a point, I don't know, it was 13 or 12 or whatever year it was, that I was we had to have a sit down, come to Jesus, connection. And from that moment on, it's been
new.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
100%.
and we- and it comes-
1,000,000%.
Communication and choice.
Mhm.
Yep.
I think
Oh,
that's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
There's
Lori.
so
And
many,
so true.
so
So
many
true.
incredible nuggets, I think, from today's conversation that you guys can walk away from and really pull into your own life and just getting to hear another story. But, mom stories are powerful. And Lori, thank you for coming on today and sharing
Thank you
yours.
for having me. Gosh, I
Oh.
feel like I've been like poured out for sure. Like, but at the same time, I feel like I've gotten to pull you guys in too.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I knew we wanted to do this, and we're so happy we finally got to.
I
so.
know.
But on that note,
We're out. Happy Father's Day. Father's Day on a
We
quiz night.
love your guts, you guys.
love your
Cheers.
guts.
Thanks for
Cheers.
being here.
Thanks for joining, and don't forget to subscribe and, of course, share with your friends. Guys, that's how we impact more lives. All right, see you next time.
Hey, Megan, you go over there and I go over here. But
Yeah,
I
it's
think
better
we
when
can
we're
be.
closer.
Yep.
Be a lot cooler if you did.